Hey everybody, can you hear me? If you can't hear me, raise your hand. All right, looks like everyone can hear me. That was a joke. I have been told that I am loud, and I'm especially loud if I've been drinking, if you know what I mean. I think that's why they call it alcohol by volume. Might happen to you as well. But I've been reading on the internet, that World Wide Web, about the benefits of a loud voice. And I've read that people who are loud show confidence. They command attention. But what I really like about being loud is I can get the bartender's attention when I'm at a bar. Bartender, I need another drink. Anyway, I'd like to thank everyone for coming on this Sunday without football. It's so great to see those couples back together again. As we all know, next Sunday is Super Bowl Sunday. I hear Taylor Swift's boyfriend is going to play, so that's good. So I have a friend who I just found out bought 2 tickets to the Super Bowl a year ago. And when he bought these tickets, he did not realize that it'd be on the same day as he was getting married. These tickets are on the 50-yard line, they're box seats, and he got them for just $2,500 in Vegas. So anyway, now that he's realized the error of his way, he's looking for someone to take his place. And the wedding's at Grace Episcopal at 3 o'clock next week. The bride's name is Sheila. She'll be wearing white. And I hear she's a good cook, so. Yeah, it's nice that you could all come out this afternoon. I'm gonna make sure that Randy gets us all out of there so we can all make it to the early bird senior buffet at the Golden Corral. It's great. Yeah, you know, I've been doing my own shopping these days. Off Tunnel Road, there's a store called Five Below. I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's near a party store. Anyway, everything in the store is $5 or less. It's like the Nordstrom of dollar stores. Well, back to the Super Bowl. My husband is what he calls professionally sports challenged. He doesn't know a lot about football. He's trying to learn, though. And we have been happily married for 25 years. Wow. Yeah, our 40th anniversary is coming up this New Year's Eve. So I can share with you the key to a happy marriage, though. The key to a happy marriage is to always let your spouse have the last words. And those words are, yes, dear. When we got married, my husband said he'd married Mrs. Right. He just didn't know that my first name was Always. As we get older, it's important for us to stay fit. So I go to the YMCA up here at Woodfin. And the other day I noticed an older gentleman who was looking very interested in this very cute, much younger, I should say, blonde. And I overheard him when he went up to the trainer, and he asked the trainer, "What's the best machine I can use here to impress this woman?" And she said, "Oh, that machine would be in the lobby. It's the ATM." But we are getting older, and I'm very concerned about my husband's hearing. You know, there's such stigma about wearing hearing aids. But I decided to test my husband's hearing the other day. I came home after grocery shopping, and I walked in the garage, and I said, "Honey, what's for dinner?" I didn't hear anything. So I walked into the living room, and I said, "Honey, what's for dinner?" Still nothing. So I walked right up into the kitchen. There he was standing at the stove, and I said, "Honey, I've asked, what's for dinner?" And he said, "For the 3rd time, it's chicken." So maybe it's me. But thank goodness for the pharmaceutical company. I'm taking something called HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Yeah, as my husband calls it, it's my anti-bitching cream. He's asked if I can get it in a 5-gallon spackle bucket. But he's taking some drugs too. And I'm talking about the little blue pill, Viagra. Who knew at our age we could have such a thriving personal life? But there's side effects that you don't hear about with Viagra. Did you know that taking Viagra suppresses your appetite? The other day, I asked my husband what he wanted for breakfast, and he said, I'm taking the blue pill, not hungry. A few hours later, I said, can I make you a sandwich for lunch? He said, I told you, I'm taking Viagra, I'm not hungry. A few hours later, I said, you must be starving. What do you want for dinner? And he said, I'm still not hungry. So I tapped him on the shoulder and I said, well, can you roll off of me? I'm starving. So the other side effect for Viagra is that my husband wants to have sex everywhere. Just the other day, we were down at the AC Hotel. We were going to get a cocktail. Bartender, up on the top floor. And my husband wanted to have sex on the elevator. I said, honey, that is wrong on every level. So my father's advice that had to do with health, which I think you should all write this down or try to remember. But my father used to say, it's better to be rich and healthy than poor and sick. So go with that. I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. I was the youngest of 4 children. I had 3 older brothers. My family wasn't Mormon, like you might suspect coming from Salt Lake City. In fact, we were a family of 6. We didn't qualify as Mormon. Mormon families had 10 to 12, and that isn't even counting the wives. Which reminds me, why did the Mormon man cross the road? To get to the other bride. That's terrible. So my family, you gotta just try these jokes out, see if you get any laughs. That's how we learn. So my family was close. We were very close. Not that we liked each other. We grew up in a 2-bedroom house, so it was too close. My family played a lot of games growing up. I learned to gamble from my grandmother playing Yahtzee. She ran the first illegal preschool in Salt Lake. We also played a lot of cards. We were always playing cards. And in kindergarten, on the first day of school, the teacher wanted to know how high we could count. Well, Mark stands up and he can count to 8. And my friend Jill stands up, she can count to 10. And I raise my hand and the teacher calls on me and I said, I can count higher than 10. 8, 9, 10, Jack, Queen, King. So my brother Jim had been the baby for 7 years before I was born, and he was always very jealous of me and was always trying to find some way to take me out. Well, my parents sometimes, as we got older, would leave me under his care, which wasn't very smart. I remember one time when he cleared out a cabinet and he asked if I could fit inside. Well, I was always trying to impress my older brother, so I dutifully folded myself inside the cabinet. And then, of course, whammo, he shuts the door, locking me in that dark, tight cabinet. And I started screaming, help, let me out, let me out. And he, in his sinister voice, said, don't scream, you'll use up all your air. But I would do this again and again. I can't tell you how many times. And each time he would promise that he wouldn't shut me in. So if you're picturing Lucy with the football, pulling it away from Charlie Brown, that was me. And who knows, maybe that's why I'm loud. Get me out of here!
Julia Lougran, everybody. A blushing flower. Good job.